Preview TV. New media with a difference.
You don't look down on what the job is. At the end of the day, what am I? Really, when you strip it all down, I'm just a car salesman. I don't know how many car salesmen have Rolls Royces.
It's true. Yeah.
Okay.
When it comes to choosing the right product for my skin, it's all about the ingredients for me. Niger skincare products are authentic, fresh, and best of all, completely organic. I love the Motherland Moisturizer. It's designed to smooth and soak in the skin without ever feeling greasy, and their Jade Roller has literally become a part of my self-care routine. Visit nigerskincare.com today and receive 20% off your first order. For beautiful skin you were born to love.
Welcome to the Podium. It's your host once again, Ambassador Spencer Anienwelu, and we're back this time around on private television. The Podium has been away for a while, but with the advent of the new administration, we said we're going to come back in full force, and what a time to start. In Nigeria at the moment, there's a whole lot going on. Suddenly, we had a new president who we knew was coming, inaugurated on the 29th of May, and since then, a week is like a 1 week, one trouble, but novel kind of thing. We have a new president. His name is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and since he's been in power on his inauguration day, he made a statement about something called subsidy. In Nigeria, there's Nigeria is a country of 200 million people, and a lot of people are poor. So the government had, in its wisdom, at some point decided to subsidize some of its products, but particularly petrol products, petroleum per se. So it's been a long for issue to try and remove it, because it's costing the government something like 400 billion a month, they reckon. And successive governments have tried to take it off, but they've never had the bottom to do it. But this particular president came on, and on his inauguration statement, he said he was going to remove subsidy, and that saw spike and hikes in petrol prices, and rendering people really helpless, really. And a lot of people can't even afford to go to work, or even fuel their generators or their cars, and it's really a problem. So on the podium today, we're asking the question: is subsidy removal fair on the ordinary Nigerian? And to help me discuss this, I have two able guests who I know, who are intelligent men and smart, and some of them are one of them is a pundit, and another is a social media investigative journalist. I have first of all, I have Ijele Speaks. His name is popularly known as Ijele Speaks, but his name is Chizoram Ofebu. Chizoram Ofebu, you're welcome to the program. Ijele Speaks, you're welcome to the program. And we're hoping to have Dr.Nnaemeka Obiaraeri. I'm not sure if he's joined us yet. He said he was going to join us. I was logging in via the link. Well, I hope he will come in on. But Ijele Speaks, do you mind unmuting your mic, please? Do you mind unmuting your mic? So we can hear you. Okay, you're trying to share it.
Sorry. At 1 minute, I want to share it to my
your
friends.
platforms. Okay, go ahead.
So they'll be able to.
Yes. Yeah. So while you
just one more.
While you share, I'm gonna give a bit of background. The subsidy removal is something that successive governments have tried to do. We had it famously. Goodluck Jonathan, the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, tried it in 2012, I think. Yes, and it led to something called the Occupy Nigeria movement. There was massive protests, and suddenly then at the time the price went from something like 86 naira to 100 and some. Well, it wasn't that much really, and it broke. There was massive protests all across Nigeria. I remember I was in Nigeria at the time, and it really affected me, because I knew how much I was putting in my car then, and suddenly it went up. But now the kind of spike we're seeing today is of the magnitude is huge, and that's why most governments never ever want to do it. They come around, they mouth it up, they say they're going to do it. It's similar to what used to happen in the UK, where successive governments would say they're going to give Scottish independence, they'll give the referendum, they do, but when it comes to it, they'll never do it. So that's what's been happening. But with President Tinubu coming in now, he categorically said that subsidy is gone. And when he said that, we saw a hike in prices, and these hikes were official because there was no reason for that. So now you're back. Can you carry on? Can you tell us a bit while we wait for Dr. Nnaemeka? I'd like you to, because I'm trying to explain what subsidy is all about. But can you try to give us your own understanding as to the layman? Now, come on, man. A lot of people don't even know these subsidies. What can be this thing? Like, can you explain to us what it is and why it was why there was a need for it in the first place?
Okay. I was having difficulty hearing you. Maybe you should check your mic, but I got your question. Meanwhile,
Okay.
First off, I want to thank my friends that are joining us here. Emeka, OJ, Katel, I salute you. I greet all of my friends that are watching us first off. I greet my family. Ijele Nation is a family. Then I greet every other person watching us. My name is Chukwuka Ofewu. I'm from Umudu Amanduba in Imo State. So I hope we all will learn a thing or two in this broadcast this afternoon. Daniel, I salute you. I greet you, my brother. So, my brother, what you are saying about the subsidy, this is one thing that every candidate running for office in the past general election campaigned on. All of them campaigned on removing fuel subsidy from Ashwat Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the second place Atiku Abubakar, to the third place Peter Obi, and the fourth place Rabi Musa Kwankwaso. All of them said they will remove the subsidy, which means by rights, this is a consensus view for everyone. And we know the level of corruption that have been going on there, many corruption cases in our oil and gas sector. If you want to know where the rocks in the Nigerian society is, like the bedrock of the corruption in our society, look at the oil and gas. Now, I don't want to compare Asiwaju's time with Jonathan's time, because those two things are apples and oranges. They are fruits, but they are very different. In our oil and because gas under Jonathan, apples and oranges. Different. Can you mute your side? Under Jonathan, I'm hearing something.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. So these are two different scenarios. That's why I would have loved for Ashwat Bola Ahmed Tinubu to have funded the subsidy for 2 more months at least. That time it will give an ample opportunity for Dangote to fill his tanks in the refinery, and the refinery will be up and running. I know he understands how much these people are fleecing the country every month in the name of subsidy. But removing it as consensus as it was, let's not forget that it was a consensus that this should be removed. But the difference between it and during Jonathan's time is that you didn't have a 650,000 barrel a day refinery in Jonathan's time. Now we do have it. And for some people that are there making noise that Nigerian government couldn't build a refinery and an individual did it. Mind you, the Nigerian government owns 20% of the Dangote refinery and petrochemicals. Every property there, 20% belongs to the Nigerian government. And by the time Dangote's investors are done taking their own shares, now the government may probably end up being the biggest shareholder in the petroleum, in that refinery and the petrochemicals plant.
Yeah, but so, quick question. Quick question. Who are these people that have been fleecing Nigeria that nobody wants to talk about or point out? Who are these people that have been making it? Who are these people that have been stealing this? You said people have been fleecing Nigeria, right? like with the subsidy. Who are these people doing it? Who have been the people stealing this crude oil? How come we haven't been able to arrest anybody?
All the people, if you go to Port Harcourt right now, you will see the list of all the companies, many shell companies. They are lifting refined petroleum products from the NNPC. Go and find the identities of all those people. Most of them are the same people that own the oil wells. Check on the internet right now, no matter the search engine you're using, the list of oil well owners in Nigeria. They are people from every part of Nigeria. You have the northerners there, you have the southerners there, everybody, your own brother is there. And let me correct one impression. There is one bastard called Ijele. He won 2 days ago with one boy. Before me, these morons were actually trying to make people believe that why fuel is 700 in River State, 6 something in Onitsha and Owerri, is because they don't allow southerners to lift petroleum products. It's only northerners. It's a bloody lie. And these are people that don't even know the name of the document you will tender before lifting oil. Rather than holding their own people responsible, as we are talking right now, Bovas, those couple that own Bovas are still selling 195 in Lagos. In Lagos, some stations, yes, some places around Kano, they are selling 330 because when you remove the subsidy, they themselves were using the government price, of which all of them are sourcing dollar in the government price. But when you come to the south, the conscious reading southern Nigeria, I'm talking about the southeast most especially, followed not far by the south. You see these two useless regions. Go check it with all the monies that are, please, with all the monies that are being pumped in there, you only find at least only 40% of them functioning. Let me prove my point. In the southeast, apart from Imo and the Bonny states, every other state is politically and economically dead, 100%. You go to the south, apart from rivers, Cross Rivers, and Akwa Ibom, every other thing from Bayelsa to Edo and Delta State, they are the most useless states from the south, just like Anambra, Enugu, and in fact, number one, Abia. I want to thank Alex Roti. His administration have arrested the chairman of Obiaraeri International Market and the chairman of other markets. They should not stop from the market president. They should go down to the zonal chairman because they all are complicit in this. When they are done sending them to jail, and he finished building an area, their family members should be made to sweep that market every day because of the level of this is so sad. We have Dr.
Nnaemeka Obiaraeri. Welcome to the program, sir. We're waiting for you. We'd like to have your opinion because we'll start by asking to clarify, tell us about what the subsidy means. You know, a lot of Nigerians will say, what do you mean subsidy to itself? What does it mean? Why would they need to bring it in the first place? And why are we removing it?
Spencer, thank you so much for having me. And before I respond to your question, it will be very, very good that when we address national issues of importance like this, we should be trying to raise some aspects and also argue from the place of full information. Economics or political economy is not activism. By the special grace of God, like I mentioned to you earlier, I have been in the industry for 21 years. I have funded oil and gas transactions.
There's a bit of interference. Yeah? Maybe can you speak up louder so we can hear you?
I think
there's a bit of interference.
Okay, can you hear me? I think it's one of my.
Yes.
You can hear me clearly now.
Yes, yes. Speak louder,
So,
please. Yeah.
so by my industrial experience over the last 21 years, basically, I will say with every sense of modesty, I understand the gamut of what happened in the oil and gas industry at all the streams, from upstream to the downstream. In fact, I was one of those in 2007 that advocated for us to deploy technology to monitor our pipelines the way they monitor it in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia produces about 10 million barrels of crude oil every day. Saudi Arabia has pipeline that covers about 15,000 kilometers, which is more than 3 times that of Nigeria. Yet you will never hear that a barrel of crude oil was stolen from the inventories of the Aramco, because the thing is so technologically wired that even if a fly perched on the pipe, it will show you where the fly perched, the seconds it perched, and the particular location. Of course, they have a security arrangement that can, at the snap of the finger, be at that venue to see what is happening.
Yeah.
What is happening in Nigeria is an organized criminal scheme by the elites. You know, very unfortunately, successive governments over the last 23 years see crude oil, see the downstream as the golden egg, golden
Yes.
goose that lays the golden egg. They always think the next election. They don't think posterity. They see it as the conduit pipe through which they will steal and loot, using their fraud to be able to finance the next election. So we have been on this cycle of criminality over the last 21 years. For the past 12, 13 years, we've wasted or we've lost over 16 trillion naira. Like I mentioned to you, 2007, I was at the forefront. We got a company from Philadelphia that was willing to do the same thing they did in Saudi Arabia. And we were at the forefront. And of course, you are trying to help those who deliberately created the opacity and the criminal scheme to enable them steal. So basically, what we see, there is subsidy, and the subsidy is a Ponzi scheme. This subsidy will have gone. I will explain to you. In 2016, there was a crash in the global oil prices. As at that time, remember when Buhari came to power, immediately they moved the price of PMS from 87 naira to 145. There was massive outcry. Fortunately, in December 2015 and January 2016, market prices crashed to such an extent that you could actually import refined products into Nigeria and land it at the depot at 113 naira, which simply means Nigerians were paying more than the cost of the product itself. So that will have been at a time we sent in proposals that they should let go. Let me tell you what happens. Have you bothered to ask yourself this question? Those 3 refineries that we're talking about were built within a period of 16 years, between 1969 to 1986. Gowon, Obasanjo, and Babangida built those trains. In fact, Obasanjo built one of them under 3 years when Buhari himself was Federal Minister for Petroleum Resources. Yet for 8 whole years, they could not fix it. Obasanjo himself, after governing for 7 years, remember he was the first person to understand the clear need for us to privatize and sell down most of those assets that the public servants were leeching upon to steal from us. Go and look at most of the corporations that we are. People were petrochemical plant element was dead. Today, the Indians have revived petrochemical plant element. They are even doing train 2 and train 3. NAFCON was dead. I was one of the lead advisors from the buy side of those that acquired NAFCON on air. I practically designed the blueprint, the business plan, everything. That asset was purchased for $152 million under guided liquidation. I funded those transactions. And people were shouting and screaming, oh, will it work? Today it's working. The only corporation in Nigeria that is paying dividend to us is NLNG. NLNG is paying dividend because NLNG is run under a PPP framework. It's owned 51% by private investors and 49% by government. It's not under the direct control of NNPC. That's why it is working. We all know what is happening. Obasanjo in 2007 saw clearly that it was useless keeping those refineries. Those refineries are not old, as people tend to believe. Refineries built in 1945, 1948, in other climes are working perfectly well. Refinery is not like a digital thing. You can always improve on the technology as it evolves. Obasanjo sold those refineries. He didn't even do outright sale. He sold about 65% to the Blue Star Consortium.
Yes.
That sales was opposed. You know, that is where I agree with the last speaker. That sales will have actually helped to revive those refineries. Who are the people that oppose that sales? Niger Delta, our own people. They were the people that opposed that sale. They were the people that were shouting and screaming. They don't want that sales to happen. And then Yar'Adua out of fear, because Yar'Adua was trying to make peace. Yar'Adua reversed that sale. And they told us 18 months they will fix it. From 2007 till now, that refinery has not been repaired. In fact, over the last 8 years, they've spent about 1.4 trillion without fixing it. So what is practically happening is a deliberate policy. What is subsidy? Subsidy simply means...
1 minute, my co-guest, please. Let me correct you a little bit there. You have spoken well, but we are a country. When you are like, I don't know how anyone who is not a direct beneficiary of that scam called privatization, if you don't know what that means, it means corporate control of your government. For instance, the problem of Nigeria is not privatization. It is conscience reading population. You may pardon my language, anyone, because I love being blunt, and when I speak from the heart. Sometimes I don't control what comes from the spirit. In Russia, all of their resources now are under the control of their government. Then in oil and gas, you see Gazprom, you see Rosneft. Gazprom and Rosneft are working concurrently. Meanwhile, in Gazprom, the majority stake is controlled by the government. That is where you are seeing President Putin getting all this money. Go to Mariupol, a place destroyed. If you want to know what Mariupol looked like 5 months ago, check what Bakhmut is looking like now. But a massive infrastructural program, availability of gas, the cheapest in the entire European continent. It is functioning very well. They didn't have to sell off their public assets. Anybody that is advocating for who are they going to sell it to? If you talked about the refinery, that refinery, when they sold it, what happened? Why did Dangote have to abandon everything about Kaduna refinery? Even his own shares there, he dropped it. How long did these criminals who sold it to themselves, just like they did NEPA, sacked people, put over 38 million people out of job? Apart from the people that are directly employed by the government, there are other labors that are connected to those ones. Let me give you an instance. At the Okuta Steel Mill, the moment they privatized it and closed it down, every company that was supplying things to the mill went out of business. All of their employees out, not just the federal workers. So let us know when we are wishing evil upon ourselves. Some people talk about throwing the baby. 1 minute, please. I will use 1 minute. Well, let me use 2 minutes to wrap up. People talk about throwing the baby and the bathwater. But actually in Nigeria, we are just holding the placenta and throwing away the whole baby. When you check all these things, the government fought how many years? Yes, inside those 8 years, how long was the government tied in the courts from one industrial court to another just to retrieve it from the same people who sold it to themselves? All of them, there is none that is not above 92% completion. That was why I was saying something before Spencer took the mic. When you have availability of supply, whether people are doing whatever they are doing, once that there is supply, you won't even notice it. All of these things will soon come live. And that means I don't focus on problems. I focus on solutions. And I love to be pragmatic. If I can't give you a pragmatic conclusion on anything, I don't venture into it. Thank you.
Yeah, but Ijele, what I wanted to know is how all of this, for the common person in Nigeria, Tinubu, all they know is Tinubu has suddenly came and come into power, and you're now seeing hardship all over Nigeria. That's the common man's perspective. He doesn't care about all these things you're talking about, all the big language and all that.
That
all
is what I'm trying to see.
His
Let me break it down.
has suddenly been worsened. So what should they have done? Was it perhaps a bit wrong for Tinubu to just announce it like that?
Let me tell you something special. All of these people that are using the black market exchange rate to calculate their money and are selling petroleum products at 540 something, some 560, some 570. In the south, in Rivers State, it has been 500 since last year, even though all of them are getting from Port Harcourt. What happened to our people's conscience? Bovas is not going to go poor. People have their own responsibility. And see, I don't pity most poor people in Nigeria, because if you refuse to educate yourself in the midst of avalanche of information, I don't need to pity you. Your existence is useless, if you ask me, because these are information you should have sought after. Why are you blaming the government that still gave these people the oil they all have? It's still subsidized oil. But now you will send the police to go and seal off anyone that's not selling. They will go there and collect 200,000 per filling station or 150,000 per filling station, depending on the state. Some places they give them 500,000, especially Rivers State and Anambra State. They give them that money. Your own people are the ones ganging up during this thing. You see why you should not even leave things that have to do with national security in the hands of individuals, because at their whims like this, they will cut it off. Legally, you can't do anything. This is why our people really need to know where their problems are coming from. Why did this thing climb on to 500 and something? Ashwaju will not go there to monitor it himself. You send the police, corruption will not let them. You send DSS, is the same thing. Why don't we start blaming ourselves for the hurt we are causing upon ourselves and against ourselves in this country? You go everywhere, it's always the working class oppressing the working class in this country. We know all the people, like I said before. Some bastards are still telling you that it's because they don't give people from the south oil. Who told you? Olu of Wari, Oba of Benin, Amayanaba of Opobo, all the traditional rulers, paramount rulers in Bayelsa, Rivers, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Delta, Edo, all of them are lifting these petroleum products. And we are telling me a northerner sitting somewhere is stopping them from taking oil? Are you kidding me? When these people are ready, they will free themselves from the clutches of the criminals that are making life difficult for them. So long the refineries come into bed, they all go live, there will be supply. Simple economics tell you that when there is excess of supply, the price must automatically go down. So let the market forces decide.
Yeah, but Ijele, don't you think that maybe perhaps the government should have first of all looked at raising the wages of the masses? Like knowing that poor people, somebody who's on 20,000 naira a month, for instance, and then probably barely goes to work and barely has money to eat. Suddenly, this has wiped out everything. How is that person meant to cope? Well, was this really thought through? They should have done it better to make sure that Nigerians don't just suffer. That's what we're talking about. Don't you think that it could have been a better way of handling this thing? Can you hear me, Ijele? You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Ask your question again.
What I'm saying is, don't you think there could have been a better way of the government dealing with this? Tinubu, perhaps he could have maybe talked about increasing wages, because think of somebody who's earning 20,000 naira, for instance.
No,
how are they meant to cope?
For the civil servants? No, this is a short term. This is a short term This is a short-term setback. This is a hit. It is not going to last long. Like I said now, when Dangote starts pumping 650,000, if we are refining 650,000 barrels, believe me, if we are not exporting those products, there will not be any storage units to put those petroleum products, which means there will be an availability of it. For instance, gas went from 1,200 naira to 1,000 naira. Now is 600 naira. Cooking gas in Nigeria. You know, we always remember the hike, but when it goes down, no one says anything. Diesel used to be 960, 980. Now it's 569.
Yeah.
Highest 600 naira. But trust those of them in the south to sell 750, 800 because that is what they do. You don't need to. You know that this price will definitely come down. These people that are planning protests, I know what they are doing. Joe Ajero is a politician. Please. I
Well, the
hate
NLC,
him political when it comes
the NLC said
I
they're going
hate
to
him.
go
Yes.
on Wednesday. Yeah.
I know Joe Ajero. Joe Ajero once responded to my letter. In fact, as a matter of fact, when my father was the branch secretary. No, he was branch secretary, treasurer, and financial secretary at the same time of the National Union of Electricity Employees. I wrote an article against Obasanjo, which was published in the magazine, in the monthly magazine, National, then shared everywhere. Joe Ajero personally acknowledged my own article. So this is a man I've known for long. He is a politician. He supports all these things happening in the Southeast. They know what they are doing. Nigerians should know who their enemies are. Number one thing. This is not going to last long. And I hate when it comes to issues that borders on bringing solution to the people, if someone who want to make it political. Oh, for 8 years. The government fought in the court for 5 years to retrieve those refineries back. It took the government 5 whole years to bring it back from them. Tomorrow now, somebody will tell you the Ajokuta still. Why Buhari under 8 years, he couldn't do anything. They've been in court since 2015. They've been in court since 2015, trying to bring our assets back from the hands of the criminals that sold it to them. Those Indian companies they are talking about, those Indians don't have fish. They are just front. Okay? They are just front. I hate politicizing issues that is affecting poor people.
Yeah.
I'll give you solution.
But Ijele, but what I'm saying is,
that is swinging on this issue.
for instance, on that day, I got a phone call from my brother who's actually in Nigeria now, right? And he owns a gas plant. And he said to me, look, that the problem with petrol, hiking prices on petrol and making it, suddenly removing the subsidies, it has a knock-on effect on every single thing. So from your food to your transportation to everything, even he himself says, at some point he needs to put up his own gas. He will see the gas will come down. He's going to have to put money on it because now,
of
when
course,
how much he needs to truck it down,
Spencer,
they're going to charge him more money. So isn't it a case of there should have been a better way of packaging it? Maybe telling people, getting people, making people aware, or like you said, maybe extending it, giving it. You said something like that earlier, giving it some time.
Spencer, Spencer, listen, we don't have a functional orientation agency. The National Orientation Agency, I keep saying it, they need to send troops there, lock everybody there, every office. It should happen around 10 a.m. Close everybody here. One after the other, you come out, you have to like explain why you should be allowed to leave. It is that bad. Like, what should you be allowed? Whether they are bad at what they do, they are very terrible at what they do. You arrest each and every one of them, let them explain to us why they should be allowed to breathe air. They had only one job. Play jingles, bring banners, bring posters.
It's true,
Best you can give to people, hats, all these things. You don't even need to go preach to them. People that are wearing them will be advertising it for you, but they wouldn't do any of this. They are collecting their budgetary allocations without doing anything. Like I said, when we want to discuss issues concerning, see, I don't have any other country but Nigeria.
Yes.
I love this country so much. I owe my very existence to the federal government of Nigeria. I have told this story several times. If not for the government, I would not have been born.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be alive.
Before you repeat that story again, but I keep on asking. So, isn't there something the government can do now? Because let me tell you,
Spencer, I can barely hear you. Come closer. Check your mic. I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me? Am I not audible? Okay, yeah. What I'm saying to you, Ijele, isn't what short-term palliative are people is the government going to put in? Because I'm telling you, people are suffering. Like from suddenly
my brother, the only short-term palliative. Listen, the only short-term palliative and the only pragmatic way. This is not an opinion; it's a fact. The only pragmatic way is everybody that owns any petrol station selling fuel 500 plus, instead of converting it from the rate you collected from the government, the government should seize. That is why we need our Peace Corps, citizen police. Give the people the right to go, seal it off, on witnesses will be there. The office of the local government chairman, this is what they come, where they come to bear. If every local government chairman instructs every councillor to make sure that all the filling stations in their territory, on their territory, are complying with this. If you do this, the price will go down. But then, who are the people that are the local government local government? The people that the governors handpicked, especially in the south, when you barely see local government elections. The closest you can get to a local government election is in the southwest. Finished. Who are the people going to show? When we say we are in a deep problem, this is what we mean, and it is not about the president.
Yeah,
it is about the
NPP has come and set a price as well, like a price range within which you're not allowed to sell petrol more than from 488 to 550 or so. I can't remember the figure. So what I'm saying is the hike is there already anyway. It's official now that there's a hike, right? In prices. Now, what is the government doing to somebody who earns 20,000 naira, who normally gets his keke, 50, 100 naira keke? Suddenly everything is doubled.
Spencer, there is no, please, there is no federal government civil servant that is earning 20,000 naira. Like I said, the evil plaguing Nigeria is from Nigerians. You will see somebody that is spending every week of between 50 and 100,000 naira on drinks, his side chick and suya every given week, but will never pay the workers well. The same useless NLC will never protect those people's jobs. These same people, there is no labor law protecting these people. Do you know how much the minimum wage is? When we are talking about minimum wage reform, it has to start in the private sector. Then the states must adopt it. Other than Lagos, Kaduna, Borno State, and a few other states, none of them are even matching the federal government on minimum wage. Please, if there was any federal worker that is earning 20,000 naira, I would now know what to tell you. But let us be always in the realm of reality. Let us restrict our discussion within the realm of what is obtainable. There is no federal government worker that is earning 20,000.
No, but I'm talking about real ordinary Nigerians here. It mustn't be federal people.
That is where the Nigerian labor. That is where the Labor Congress should focus. Why don't the Labor Congress tell the new National Assembly, even the outgoing one, that they should hasten this? There is a process where bills can be expedited. Actions will be expedited on bills. Why don't they tell them that any employee that is not paying this so thing for the private sector, we are going to seize your assets. The Labour Congress will not do it. Why? All of them there are subservient to the same criminals who will use government money, public money, steal it, build hotels, and be paying girls small money there. And they, without telling them to add it with Ashawo, they're already setting those girls up with Ashawo. No, let's say the truth. They will not focus there. It is Tinubu now. After Tinubu, and hopefully it will be Zulu, they will still be shouting Zulu. Hold the private sector responsible. Strengthen the labor laws. Now, when it comes to implementation, many girls are sitting at home because their bosses want to sleep with them. They refuse. They didn't even pay them. Till date, no one knows how they are going to get the money. If you go to the police, they will collect money from him, sometimes even jail the girl and accuse you of stealing, tie you up down in court. This is the society we are living in. So let's not be pinning our evil on the government. Government, na me and you.
Yes. And then, Ijele, what do you think? Because we had something like 400 million, billion actually, naira a month that's being spent on this subsidy. What do you think the government should use the money for now? Now they've removed it. Where should they put that money? Is it into electricity? We want to see something. We don't want to hear that it's been taken away and they're not putting it. What can they put this in that we can see?
They already said, the government said it will go into education.
No, but
it will go into security.
We want electricity.
Wait.
Why education?
I'm coming, please. I'm coming, please.
I want it to be something that's tangible that will change the lives of Nigerians.
No, I'm coming. That is, I'm trying to explain the process, please.
Okay, go on.
I don't like the P2B type of investment in education because they will tell you he invested billions. His people can cry in the comment section. It's their business. I'm not even seeing your comment. Not that type of we invested billions every day. They will show us where students and teachers are holding a dot check of 100 million. Whether they give them or not, you know, they even see what they use and do. There should be a pragmatic revampment of the educational sector, which should start from infrastructure.
Yes.
Most of public schools, especially, there is nothing like, oh, there is federal government college. No, if there are 3 federal government colleges in every state, there is nothing wrong with it. The sky will not fall. We have a burgeoning population. Many of them, if you don't build federal primary schools and federal secondary, like these are structures you can see. For instance, now, the president will say, this is what we need. It should be a 3-story building. Each block will carry so number of toilets. This is the size of the football pitch you will have there. This is what we need. This is what will happen. There are federal lands in every state. You use these federal lands. You don't have to give it to one contractor. No. In Anambra State, don't even give it to anybody in Anambra State or even Imo State.
Why?
You bring a contractor. How much are you going to build this thing with? This is the amount. That money, you don't need to be paying it half and half. No, we fully mobilize you. Then you will send people that will be monitoring the quality of job. Okay? You send people that will monitor the quality of job done. Directly, the money is not only in education. That place they will be building, if they are building the school in Amanduba, they will not go to Olu to look for a bricklayer. They will not go to Ogidi to look for the people that will be doing menial jobs there. It will be people in the locality. Automatically, you've created millions of jobs in the whole country. You don't need, the minister doesn't need to touch that money. No. It is from the finance directly to the contractors. No party agent, no member board of trustee, nothing like a commissioner. Commissioner, your job is to make sure that those people did a quality job, and they should open a database. Every government school, their data, how the outside of the school is looking, how the classrooms, the toilets, how they are looking, should be there. And each one should have a feedback loop in the form of a comment section. In case somebody go and upload what they didn't build, somebody from that community will come there and say, this is a lie. They did not build this thing. It is not like this. Then you start punishing them immediately. Again, that is where the peace corps come in. Citizen arrest, and citizen arrest says they will bring you back. They will bring you to the station or holding cell.
Yes. Ijele, do you think, right, what I want to ask, it's in line with what you're saying. Is it possible we're going to see something like what happened
Your voice. Please.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you well.
You know, with
Yes.
President Buhari, when he first came in, and he chased around, judges were running up and down and all that. Are we going to see this with these marketers? We want to see people arrested. We can't just say, people were stealing money, they were taking our fuel away and selling it, and nothing happens. Something has to be done.
My brother, let me tell you, there is no one who is unaware, unless you are not politically savvy. Everybody that's following politics knows that the Christian Association of Nigeria, the petroleum marketers, didn't they go on strike? How many times did they strike and create artificial scarcity during the election? See, the man knows his enemies. If you have ever crossed paths with Asiwaju, you will know that this man will not let his enemy make life unbearable for him. He has an army. Like when you talk about capacity, the capacity is there. There are things I'm not going to tell you in this broadcast, but the man is already like, he started running the affairs of the country before handover, before the inauguration. Okay? He is going to deal with these people. When I say Asiwaju, Shibode George is not telling you he was not insulting Tinubu. Say it, if Tinubu asks him, he will work with him. Like, do you know what that means? This is a man once thought to be invincible, that was blowing hot every time. But for him to, do you think you know Tinubu more than Bode George? Calm down. When you go use your ear, hearer.
Yeah. Okay. And so Nigerians, in the meantime, what should Nigerians do now? They should just bear with the government. What should Nigerians do at the moment? They should just bear with, what should they do? How do they cope? That's my question. They're not like, I heard last week that people were waiting at the bus stop.
Nigerians should start calling.
You know, people have to walk home and all of that. So how do we deal with this? Go on.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm saying, how do we do it? What do you, well, like what I said earlier, how are people meant to cope? People have been seen stranded after that thing happened. People can't afford to get onto the.
Spencer, I can stand here. Spencer, I can stand here. I can stand here and lie to you that things will get better. I give you opium to drink, and I will be that. Let me tell you, if everybody don't descend on their local marketers, if you don't descend on these people, keep shouting Preda government, you will suffer this until Dangote start pumping oil. It is your duty. As they say they are running Labour Congress, no, you tell them to focus on these private marketers because they are the cause of the problem. Tinubu will not leave his seat and come and be pursuing them. You as a citizen, is your job. Okay? Is your president, please let me correct that what you said. The people Asiwaju selected, go and check all of them. Fashola, but all of these people, check who he has put where in certain places. He has not released his ministerial list first. Go and check all the people he is selecting from the Buhari's administration. They are the ones that carry the oxygen, which push Buhari past the line. I mean, when you are talking about infrastructure, why would you not work with the infrastructural team of President Muhammadu Buhari? Why would you ditch personnel from any government in Nigeria? Femi was in the house, so he wasn't even working under the executive branch. When you see, you would have heard Ashwaju accountable. If he had been appointing all these that were handling things that didn't do well. Second Niger Bridge is Fashola. Enugu to Cameroon Road is Fashola. Bonny Island connected to mainland Nigeria for the first time is Fashola. I don't even know where to begin. Should I go into the southwest? All the major highways in the south. Mention one major highway in the southwest that is not good. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but
there are people he will work with.
yeah,
But you see, you will see him appointing like Mohammed for anything, for any position. So let's just there is nuance to every issue. Not
but
because he's bringing people from the past administration.
Ijele, let me say something. My fear, though, is that Nigeria might fall down the drains like what's happening to Venezuela. You know the case of Venezuela. They removed their subsidy and their currency went haywire. So how are we not running the risk of that happening to Nigeria?
That person, any person saying that thing doesn't know the first thing about finance and economics. Like in what way? Like, in what way? Even in the present world, what destroyed Venezuela was the US dollar sanction and the seizure of their gold by the British government. It was a war declared upon them because they did not allow Western corporations to steal their resources. So if you don't know about the story of Venezuela, go and you study what happened in Venezuela from the Bolivar Revolution till date. Check what have been happening to not this garbage they are writing on Financial Times, The Guardian, and all these people. No. And they cannot sanction nobody. Nigeria, you see Nigeria, you see Cameroon, you see Congo, you see South Africa. No Western country can afford to sanction any of these countries. Rather, they will assassinate your leader or they will cause a revolution. Are they mad? Okay, in a world where the Chinese version of the Visa card topped Visa throughout last year, and this year it is beating it. More transaction going through the Chinese payment system. And you think someone like how? But I don't like all these boutique terminologies without a proper explanation. There is no comparison between Nigeria and Venezuela.
Okay, so and we're hoping that the NLC march, if it does go ahead on Wednesday, doesn't lead to occupy Nigeria again, like what we saw last time. We're hoping
nobody will do. Let me tell you, nobody will do him. Let me even sound it as warning. Anybody listening to me, don't come and say, oh, people have rights. Hey, you have right to feel bad, though. You have right to feel any way you want to feel. You don't have any right to disturb people's business. When there is a true labor movement in Nigeria, we know. You see this nonsense that Ijele and co are planning. Stay in your home. Don't say you were not warned. We will not say it 2 times. If they born you well, go join anything that will destroy the peace of this country. You will know that this administration is totally different from the Buhari administration. And this time around, it is not a case of removing the police protection of all these people planning this thing and returning it after 3 days. No, it will be forever. Anybody that does pain, if you are listening to me now, warn your people. If any protest goes beyond the local filling station that is selling fuel 570, it's a fake protest. If there should be any protest, it must be against the marketers. They are the problem. Anybody using you to come and say they are attacking I repeat, everybody is still getting fuel for an NPC at the old price. If the Nigerian Labour Congress is not going to focus on the independent marketers, stay home. It's a 419. It's pure fraud. Stay home before they go do you something where your family go regret. They go just use you raise money. The money don't cause problem for them. Abure and Lamidi, no be a geological difference that they get. Now money where they no share well. So don't let your blood be a part of what they will use to do NSAS 3.0. Some of you fell for the first one, you fell for the second round of gimmick, and you are going to fall for this one now. Stay in your place. If you want to protest, hold your local market as responsible.
Yes. Before you go, finally, I'm going to ask you a question. But we lost our guest, Dr. Nnaemeka. He had a problem connecting, so probably we'll bring him back on another program. But what I want to say is, in closing, how optimistic are you about this administration of Tinubu? You think it's for some people think he's started on a bad foot. Do you think he's going to be a good regime, or is it a rough fight for Nigerians?
Spencer, so many people. I don't know if I should mention this guy. I know a friend of mine, Femi. Femi was an Obi supporter. But not just him. So many people that didn't believe are beginning to believe. Like, you can sense it. You can sense that genuine optimism. You can actually feel it, because this is a man that before he came in, before he was handed over to, had penciled down everything, every ministry. You don't need to take my word for it. Most people criticizing have not even read his manifesto. If you check the manifesto, he started with the page 1 already. See, this is, you know why I love people like Hope Uzodinma to be in charge of states, or Tinubu to be in charge of Nigeria. These are people that are using their own money to fund anything they are doing. So when they get to office, they don't have any godfather they are paying to. What that means is, the implication is that he has more money to work with. This is what Tinubu is. He is not somebody you are going to push around. Okay? He is not somebody you are going to push around.
Yeah.
You like him or not like this. I love his attitude. This is the type of attitude I have. I don't need to like you. Like, people will say the problem of Nigeria is the lack of unity. You and me, they unite. What I want you to do. In Turkey, there is a 30% of Turkish population that hates the other 70% passionately. Yet they have roads, they have hospitals. Like, your love for me, how is it affecting my road, market, everything? I'm somebody that I can be like a very sweet sunshine for you on a very good day. But if I sense any uncomfortability around there, I will withdraw myself. Like, I love staying alone. I love being all alone. I march alone everywhere. Once I have that, my protection that is protecting me everywhere. Because I totally believe that one with gun is majority. So once I have that thing with me, I will go to where I want to go, move around, stay on my own. If you bring a fight to me, I will make sure I deal with you decisively and mercilessly. I bet. But using these nonsense things that don't have meaning, that no one can explain. Oh, they hate us. They don't like us. What is my business with you liking me or hating me? Do the job. And this is the utmost trust I have in Ashwat Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You can even sense it in the civil service. You can, like, everywhere. The man doesn't care. Do you see him defending, oh, I appointed this person? Because, like, having time to, where you and I one see the top down nonsense.
Anyway, Ijele, thank you very much for coming on the program. It was a shame we couldn't hear from the other Dr. Nnaemeka Obiaraeri, but hopefully next time. As always, you're one of our brothers. You're like a brother to us, and we like to always have you on the program. I will just say, please keep joining us every time we call you. I know there's going to be more issues coming up. I would like to be getting your opinions and, getting you to put the other side, the perspective that sometimes people don't see ordinarily.
Spencer, I'm always here for you now.
Yeah.
Spencer, I'm always here for you, if nothing else, at least for Chinedu. I'm always here for you.
Thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you soon in Abuja. All right, so take care. Thank you everyone for coming on the program today. We're going to be having more of these kind of programs weekly on Saturdays. Please join me. Ijele could be joining me if it's free, and anyone else who wants to come on the program can come on. Next time I'll probably have Henry Chimezie, because I saw people saying Henry should come on, and so we can all jazz it up and have a say and push out the narrative that sometimes people don't ordinarily get to hear. And I'd like to say thank you very much. Keep a date with us every Fridays from now 5 p.m. It's your boy Spencer Anienwelu. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Prime View TV, new media with